Chosen one, this is not a coincidence. This is a divine appointment written into the fabric of time. Heaven itself has orchestrated this very moment for you to hear these words. You did not stumble upon this message. You were summoned by the Spirit. Right now, as you listen, the realms of heaven are aligning, and the flow of divine transfer is being released into your life. Anointed one, you are standing on holy ground, the threshold between what was and what is about to be. The delays were never denial, they were divine preparation. Every tear, every waiting season, every hidden prayer has been stored like seed in the soil of heaven, and now the harvest is being commanded to manifest. The word declares in Deuteronomy 28:12, "The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty." That promise is stirring over you right now. The gates of provision are creaking open. The angels of release are moving at your name. Chosen one, prepare your heart, because heaven has seen your faithfulness, and the supernatural transfer that was once delayed is now in motion. This is your appointed hour. Chosen one, listen closely, because heaven itself has paused to witness what's unfolding in your life right now. You are not here by accident. This moment isn't random. It's a divine alignment, a sacred intersection where eternity brushes against time. Something in the unseen has shifted, and your obedience, your small yes, has rippled through the heavens. Anointed one, heaven was shocked not because it doubted you, but because you finally stepped into what it always knew you could become. You made a decision that no one saw but God. It didn't look grand. It didn't feel powerful. But the moment you acted in faith, when you chose surrender over fear, trust over control, the atmosphere around your life changed. Angels leaned forward. The realm of heaven adjusted its gaze toward you. There are times when one quiet act of obedience carries more power than 1,000 loud prayers. You may not realize it yet, but that step you took, that decision to rise, to forgive, to try again, to release what was holding you, became the turning point of your entire story. The delay broke. The divine order began to reconfigure around your name. I know what it feels like to stand in that in-between space, to wonder if heaven still remembers your name. I've been there. The waiting rooms of destiny can feel like silence, like nothing is moving, like all your prayers have fallen flat. But chosen one, heaven's silence has never meant absence. It meant preparation. And now the pause is over. The Spirit of God has whispered your name into the halls of heaven again. The tests you endured weren't to disqualify you, they were to reveal you. You have been refined in hidden places, shaped in obscurity, strengthened in silence, and now the sound of heaven's movement is surrounding you. You are stepping into what I call a supernatural turning point, a moment where what was delayed becomes released, where the invisible becomes visible, where the financial gates of heaven begin to open because of spiritual alignment. This is not hype, it's holy timing. You see, when you align with obedience, the natural and the supernatural collide. Suddenly, favor begins to locate you. Provision starts flowing toward you instead of away from you. Opportunities once locked are now calling your name. You're not chasing, you're being called. And I feel this so strongly for you. Heaven was not just shocked by what you did. Heaven moved because of it. The order of things shifted to make room for what you are about to receive. The spiritual drought you've endured has reached its end. The clouds are forming. The rain of divine transfer, financial, emotional, spiritual, is gathering above you. So take a breath, chosen one. Feel this moment. You've crossed the invisible threshold between waiting and manifestation. What happens next will not be the result of striving, but of divine orchestration. Heaven has already recorded your yes, and when heaven records something, it must manifest on earth. This is your moment of divine shock, where heaven stands in awe, not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence. You didn't quit, You kept believing. You kept praying when it didn't make sense. And now, the shift is happening. Heaven has pressed play again, and this time, it's your story unfolding in full color. Chosen one, heaven wasn't shocked when you succeeded. Heaven was shocked when you finally believed who you were all along. For so long, you saw yourself as less than what God designed. You prayed for strength, while not realizing that strength was already inside you. You begged for favor, unaware that favor had been chasing you since birth. The angels weren't surprised by your potential. They were astonished by your awakening. Because when you finally looked in the mirror and saw yourself through heaven's eyes, something ancient in the spirit realm began to tremble. The veil lifted, the lies lost their grip. Every word spoken against your identity, every whisper that told you you're not enough, started to burn away in the fire of truth. Anointed one, you've carried a quiet war inside for years. The battle wasn't about circumstances, it was about identity. The enemy knew that if you ever discovered who you truly are, nothing could stop what heaven has written over you. That's why the attacks were personal. That's why the pressure was constant. Because your awakening was a threat. I remember standing in that same place, exhausted, unsure, trying to make sense of why everything seemed so heavy. And then one day, I heard that gentle voice. You are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from it. That revelation shifted everything. I realized heaven wasn't waiting on God to move, heaven was waiting on me to believe. And that's what just happened to you. When you believed, the heavens reacted. When you accepted that you are not ordinary, the atmosphere around your name changed. You stopped begging for approval and started walking in authority. That's when everything began to respond differently. Even people could feel it. Not because your circumstances changed overnight, but because you changed. There's something supernatural that happens when a chosen one comes into alignment with their true identity. It's like the entire creation exhales in relief, because another light has turned back on. The moment you said, I know who I am, the unseen world adjusted its balance. Angels positioned themselves. Opportunities that were locked began to unlock. This awakening isn't arrogance, it's awareness. It's not pride, it's presence. You've simply stepped into the truth that heaven has always known. You've realized that you are not random. You are a divine assignment wrapped in flesh. Every detail of your journey, the heartbreaks, the rejections, the detours, were all training for your revelation moment. Chosen one, this is why heaven was shocked. Because the very moment you stopped doubting your worth, the very second you stood up in your true identity, the power that had been dormant within you activated. And when you stood, hell trembled. Now, the light inside you is not a flicker, it's a flame. It's the torch that will guide others through their night. You are walking proof that awareness is power, and faith is the switch that turns on the supernatural. You've entered a realm where everything begins to align your gifts, your purpose, even your provision. The divine transfer is no longer a promise, it's a process in motion. Doors you couldn't open before will begin to swing wide because you've become the version of yourself heaven has been waiting for. So walk tall, anointed one. The revelation of who you are is the sound that heaven has been waiting to hear. You have awakened, and the entire spiritual realm is rejoicing. Chosen one. Listen to me, heaven keeps record of everything, even your tears, especially your tears. Those nights when your pillow was soaked, those days when your strength felt like dust, none of it was forgotten. Every sigh, every whisper of pain you thought no one heard, was gathered, counted, and stored in heaven's archives as sacred evidence of your faith. You see, anointed one, tears are not weakness, they are liquid prayers. They are the language of the Spirit when words run out. Each drop carried a message, I still believe. Even when your heart was breaking, even when you had nothing left to offer, your tears spoke louder than your fear. Heaven understood them, and because you kept believing through the pain, A supernatural credit was being built in the unseen realm. I know this intimately. I remember seasons where everything looked barren, prayers unanswered, doors closed, people walking away. I would sit in silence, wondering if God still saw me. But what I didn't realize then was that heaven was watching closer than ever. Each tear I shed was not a sign of defeat, it was a seed. And those seeds grew into breakthroughs that I couldn't yet see. Chosen one, that's exactly what's happening for you now. Heaven has begun to release the harvest of your hidden faith. The tears you cried in silence are now speaking in the Spirit, testifying that you endured when others quit, that you kept your heart open when bitterness tried to take root. Those tears became the foundation of the blessing that is now making its way toward you. The divine transfer, yes, the supernatural flow of resources, ideas, and favor doesn't fall on random people. It falls on those who've proven through tears that they can be trusted with heaven's abundance. You didn't just survive, you stayed faithful, and that faithfulness has created a spiritual opening. When heaven collects your tears, it also calculates your strength. It sees what you've carried alone, what you never told anyone, what you prayed through while pretending to smile. And now, that weight is being exchanged for glory. The same pressure that almost broke you is becoming the oil that anoints you. Anointed one, you've been misunderstood, overlooked, even ridiculed for the depth of your feeling, but that sensitivity is not a flaw, it's a mark of divine wiring. You feel deeply because heaven flows through you deeply. You carry the burden of others because your spirit was built to intercede, to stand in the gap. That's why your warfare was intense, because your purpose is immense. The time has come for your tears to be transformed. What was once pain will become provision. The emotional battles that seemed endless are turning into divine elevation. Heaven does not waste tears, it converts them. Every tear has become a drop of oil poured upon your head, marking you for this next dimension of glory and grace. Chosen one, I need you to understand this. Your tears did not fall in vain, they fell into the hands of God. And from those hands, they are now being poured back into your life as answered prayers, open doors, reconciled relationships, and unexpected provision. You are stepping into a season where heaven honors the unseen sacrifices. You may have cried alone, but you will rejoice publicly. What was done in darkness is about to be rewarded in light. The tears that once blurred your vision are now watering the very ground where your miracles will grow. So lift your head, anointed one. The same eyes that wept in the night will soon witness the dawn of promise. Your tears were the currency of your faith, and heaven is now making the divine exchange. Chosen one, heaven did not simply notice when you rose, it applauded. You may not have heard the sound, but the moment you stood up again after being knocked down, something thundered in the unseen realm. The sound of chains breaking, the sound of angels rejoicing, the sound of destiny shifting. Anointed one, you walked through a fire that should have destroyed you. The heat was unbearable, the losses were real, and yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, still rising. You thought your endurance went unnoticed, but heaven was watching. Heaven saw every moment you wanted to quit and chose faith instead. Every "I'll try again tomorrow" became worship. Every tear that fell in surrender became a spark that ignited divine power around your name. I've been through those flames myself. There were seasons when everything I had built seemed to collapse, when prayers echoed without answers and the light felt distant. But looking back now, I see that the fire wasn't sent to burn me down. It was sent to burn off what couldn't come with me into the next season. It purified, it revealed, it forged something indestructible inside me, and the same is true for you, chosen one. What you survived was not ordinary. Others would have broken under the same weight, but you learned how to dance in the fire. You found God inside the flames, and because of that, heaven applauded. When the world saw ashes, heaven saw gold. When others saw loss, heaven saw preparation. You are walking proof that resurrection power is not just a story, it's a reality. You were pressed, but not crushed, struck down, but not destroyed. Every battle that tried to bury you only ended up planting you deeper in purpose. Now, your resilience has become a weapon. The enemy underestimated your endurance. He thought the storm would silence you, but instead, it sharpened your voice. It made your worship louder, your faith deeper, your spirit stronger. You are not emerging from the fire as the same person who entered it. You are refined, not ruined. And this is the prophetic truth I feel stirring for you right now. Your rising has triggered a heavenly reward. The divine transfer is not only about money or material gain, it's about elevation, promotion, authority, influence, the type that only comes after fire, the kind that heaven can trust you with because you proved faithful in the furnace. The applause of heaven isn't noise, it's movement. When heaven claps, things begin to rearrange, doors open, resources appear, people are positioned. You are stepping into the ripple of that applause. The same faith that carried you through the trial is now calling abundance toward you. Chosen one, take this moment in. Heaven's eyes are still on you, not with pity but with pride. You've graduated from surviving to reigning. You've walked through the valley and emerged with fire in your eyes and oil on your hands. Every scar tells a story now not of pain, but of power. You are a living testimony that divine purpose always survives the fire. The furnace didn't finish you, it forged you. Heaven has stood, heaven has applauded, and now heaven is about to release what has been waiting behind the flames. The season of refinement is ending. The season of revelation is beginning. The gold has been purified, and it's you. Chosen one, listen closely, because what heaven is doing in your life right now is sacred. You are stepping into a season of crowning. This isn't a crown of vanity or pride, it's a crown of purpose. It's the visible evidence that you endured the process, that you didn't bow to pressure, that you stayed faithful even when no one was watching. Anointed one, the fire you walked through wasn't punishment, it was the forging ground of kings and priests. You were tested not to prove your weakness, but to prove your worthiness, to carry divine authority. And now, heaven is placing honor upon your head. This crown is not made of gold that tarnishes or jewels that fade. It is formed from obedience, from tears turned to oil, from prayers whispered in dark rooms where only God could hear you. Every yes you gave, when it would have been easier to quit, became a thread in the crown of destiny, now resting upon your spirit. I remember when I reached this place myself, the moment after a long season of breaking, when suddenly peace began to feel heavier than pain. That's when I realized I had been crowned, not with applause or recognition, but with authority. There's a calm that comes when heaven has trusted you with something eternal. It's quiet power, holy confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation because it's already sealed in heaven's court. Chosen one, you're stepping into that now. Heaven is shifting your posture from servant to steward, from endurance to dominion. The same hands that once trembled in prayer will now carry spiritual authority. You've graduated from asking, "Why me?" to declaring, "Send me." When heaven crowns you, it's not just for display, it's for responsibility. That's why your battles were so intense. You were being trained for leadership. You can't lead from comfort, you lead from conquest. You can't guide others through fire unless you've walked through your own, and you have. Every trial was a lesson, every delay a classroom, every heartbreak a teacher. Now the crown signifies more than your victory, it signifies your assignment. The world will feel it. People will begin to look to you without even understanding why. They will sense a peace around you that wasn't there before. They'll feel drawn to your words, your presence, your wisdom. That's because heaven's mark of authority rests upon you. But hear this clearly. Anointed one crowns are not meant to be hidden. They are meant to shine. to testify. When you wear your crown humbly, you become a living sermon without saying a word. Every act of kindness, every decision rooted in integrity, every step you take in faith becomes a reflection of the kingdom you represent. The enemy knows what that crown means. It means the battle is over for your identity. You no longer fight to prove who you are. You walk as proof of who God has called you to be. The shame that once hung over your shoulders is gone. The doubt that once whispered lies has been silenced. You wear peace now like armor and purpose like a mantle. Chosen one, heaven has declared it. You are the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. This isn't just a verse, it's your reality. You've stepped into a spiritual promotion. What was once withheld is being released. What was once out of reach is now being placed in your hands. So stand tall, adjust your crown. This is your coronation moment, not before men, but before heaven. The throne room has spoken your name, and honor has been decreed over your life. Your days of proving yourself are over. Your days of walking in authority have begun. The light on your head will attract favor, divine partnerships, and heavenly provision. The resources you need to fulfill your calling are already aligning to your obedience. You are not striving anymore, you are reigning. And as you walk forward, remember this truth. Crowns are not rewards for perfection. They are acknowledgments of endurance. You endured, you rose, you believed, and now heaven honors you. Chosen one, lift your head. The crown fits perfectly because it was made just for you. Chosen one, what heaven placed on your head in secret must now be sealed in the spirit. A crown without a seal can be stolen, but when heaven seals something, it becomes unshakable, unbreakable, and irreversible. That's the moment you are standing in right now. Anointed one. This season isn't about striving anymore. It's about alignment. Heaven is calling you to seal what has already been spoken, to bring into agreement what heaven has decreed and what earth must now reflect. When your faith, your words, and your actions align, the invisible becomes visible. The supernatural becomes inevitable. I remember when I first understood this, that obedience is not just about hearing, it's about sealing. There was a time when I prayed for open doors, but the doors didn't move. It wasn't because heaven said no, it was because I hadn't yet agreed with what heaven had already said yes to. The moment I aligned my actions with God's promise, everything accelerated. That's what's about to happen for you, chosen one. Heaven has already approved your promotion. The resources, the connections, the opportunities, they're all prepared. But the seal comes from your agreement. Every time you say, "Yes, Lord," every time you declare, "I receive," every time you act in faith, you are sealing heaven's decree on earth. This is why prophetic acts matter. They're not rituals. They're visible signs of invisible realities. When you move in faith, when you speak, write, give, build, or bless, you are building a bridge between realms. You are saying, "Heaven, I'm not waiting passively anymore. I'm partnering actively." Chosen one, you are in a prophetic window right now, a kairos moment where obedience carries multiplied power. What you do in this window will set the course for the next season of your life. Heaven has opened the books over your destiny, and the ink is still wet. This is the moment to sign your name in agreement. So hear me with your spirit. This is the time to move. This is not a time to shrink back or second-guess yourself. You've spent years preparing, refining, waiting. Now heaven says, seal it. Seal the vision with your faith. Seal the promise with your declaration. Seal the breakthrough with your surrender. You may feel small in what you can do, but heaven doesn't measure faith by size. It measures it by alignment. Even the smallest act done in obedience carries eternal weight. A single word written in faith can echo through generations. A single seed sown in trust can unlock doors that money can't buy. And Anointed One, I feel this deeply. You've entered a season where prophetic alignment will be followed by prophetic acceleration. What used to take years will now happen in months. What seemed impossible will suddenly appear as if it had always been waiting, because once the seal is made, resistance loses its power. I've seen it happen, I've lived it. When heaven's seal comes upon your life, everything changes. Delays dissolve, chaos quiets. The same people who doubted you will begin to ask for your wisdom, not because of who you are, but because of the mark you carry. Heaven's approval carries a fragrance the world cannot ignore. Chosen One, let this be your declaration. I am aligned, I am sealed, I am ready. These are not just words, they are keys. Each one unlocks another layer of favor, grace, and divine flow. You are no longer begging for breakthroughs, you are commanding them through agreement. The prophetic seal means your path is protected, your provision is secured, your destiny is defended. Every step you take from now on will echo with the authority of heaven's endorsement. So walk boldly, Anointed One. Heaven's ink is dry. The contract has been signed, the seal has been pressed, and your life now bears the imprint of divine order. You are the living agreement between heaven and earth, and nothing can undo what God has sealed. Chosen One, the heavens are still echoing with the sound of your yes. You may not realize how far that sound has traveled, but your obedience has already begun to move through time, touching hearts and shifting destinies you may never meet in this lifetime. Anointed One, obedience is not just about what happens in the moment, it's about what it activates in eternity. When you said yes to God's call, you didn't just change your life, you changed the trajectory of everything connected to your name. There are people right now, in your bloodline, in your city, in your future, who will live freer because you chose to align. I've seen this truth unfold in my own life. The moment I surrendered to purpose, things around me began to move, not instantly, but undeniably. People I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly reached out. Doors I thought were closed began to open without knocking. Situations that once drained me began to produce fruit. That's what obedience does. It ripples. Chosen One, your yes has weight in heaven. It's not just symbolic, it's structural. Every act of obedience builds a framework in the unseen. Heaven begins to rearrange resources, relocate people, and redirect timing to fulfill what your yes unlocked. You may not see it all yet, but the construction is underway. The blueprint is already stamped with your obedience. There are generational patterns that ended the day you said yes. Cycles of lack, of fear, of silence they broke when you chose surrender. The heavens recorded that moment as a turning point, not just for you, but for those who will come after you. Your grandchildren, your spiritual children, even strangers who hear your story. They will walk on the path your obedience cleared. Anointed One. The enemy fought so hard to stop you because he knew this ripple would be unstoppable. He wasn't afraid of your talent, he was afraid of your yes. Because when a chosen one truly surrenders, it creates an earthquake in the spirit. Every chain linked to your family line begins to rattle. Every curse loses footing. Every locked gate starts to tremble. You need to understand this. Your obedience doesn't stay contained. It's contagious. When others see you rise, they remember that they can too. When they watch you walk in peace after pain, they begin to believe that restoration is real. You've become living proof that surrender is not weakness, it's power in its purest form. There are moments in heaven's timeline where one person's obedience becomes a global shift. Abraham's yes birthed a nation. Esther's yes saved her people. Mary's yes ushered salvation into the world. And your yes, it may look small now, carries that same heavenly frequency. It is reverberating across realms, awakening dormant purposes in others who are watching silently. waiting for a sign that it's possible. You are that sign. Chosen one, your story has become a living prophecy. The way you love, forgive, rebuild, and persist, all of it preaches louder than words ever could. You've stepped into the phase where your presence carries breakthrough. You walk into rooms and the atmosphere shifts. You speak simple truths and hearts begin to heal. That's the ripple of obedience. It doesn't just change your environment, it transforms others through proximity. Your life has become a testimony that obedience to heaven always produces abundance on earth. So hold nothing back now. Keep saying yes, even when it's uncomfortable. Keep trusting, even when it's unclear, because heaven is still multiplying your obedience in ways you can't yet see. You may never know the full scope of the people your obedience will reach, but one day, eternity will show you faces, lives redeemed, destinies restored, generations renewed, all because one, chosen one said, "Yes, Lord." The ripple has begun, and nothing can stop it now. Chosen one. This is the moment where everything converges. The tears, the tests, the silence, the rising, the obedience, all of it has led to this. Heaven has not only watched, heaven has witnessed. The realms have recorded your journey. The angels have written your yes into eternity. And now the fire of completion has fallen upon your life. Anointed one, when heaven looked upon what you finally did, it was not shock in disbelief, it was shock in awe. The kind that erupts when prophecy becomes flesh, when potential becomes reality. You see, heaven always knew your name, but this moment where you stood firm, when you chose faith instead of fear, destiny instead of doubt, this was what creation had been waiting for. You have done what many never reach. You crossed the invisible threshold from being called to being commissioned. You didn't just believe in the word, you became it. You walked into the very thing God had spoken over you long ago, and all of heaven responded. The fire that once tested you is now crowning you. The same fire that once refined you is now empowering you. This is the holy exchange, pain for purpose, warfare for wisdom, ashes for authority. You are no longer the version of yourself that was just surviving. You are the vessel of divine fire, the living proof that what God starts, He finishes. I remember when I reached this kind of moment, when the prayers I once whispered became the reality I was standing in. I didn't even recognize myself, because the person who started the journey had been burned away. Only purpose remained. That's what's happening in you right now. The unnecessary has fallen off. The distractions have dissolved. All that remains is destiny. Chosen one, heaven's shock came from seeing you fully awaken. For years, your potential lived like a promise waiting for permission. But now you've given heaven permission to move freely through you. Your obedience has turned into authority. Your faith has turned into fire. And your fire, it cannot be hidden. The heavens have opened above your life. The divine order has shifted into motion. You are entering a phase where favor will move faster than logic. Provision will appear without explanation. People will be drawn to help you without knowing why. That is how heaven responds when a chosen one finishes what they were sent to begin. You've broken the silence, chosen one. You've completed the assignment that felt impossible. You've stepped into the identity that generations before you only dreamed of walking in. Heaven has recorded this moment as fulfilled prophecy. Anointed one, this fire you carry now is not destructive, it's creative. It will light paths for others who are still wandering in darkness. You are a flame of remembrance, reminding the world that obedience still moves mountains, that faith still heals, that God still raises the overlooked into places of influence and impact. This is why heaven was shocked, because you didn't just pray for change, you became the change. You didn't just hope for light, you embodied it. You didn't wait for confirmation, you were the confirmation. And now, the same fire that refined you will expand through you. It will touch families, generations, cities, even nations. What began as your private surrender has turned into a public awakening. The fire will spread, and you are its carrier. So take a deep breath, chosen one. Feel the weight of destiny sitting lightly now upon your shoulders. The war is over. The alignment is complete. The transfer, both spiritual and divine, has begun to flow. What was promised is now possessed. Lift your hands, lift your heart. Heaven is not just watching, it's celebrating. The hosts are singing, creation is applauding, and the Father is smiling, saying, "This is my chosen one, they did it." You've finished the test, you've ignited the fire, you've become the prophecy, and now all of heaven stands in awe, shocked, rejoicing, radiant, because of what you finally did. Chosen one, this is your moment of divine completion. Heaven has seen your endurance, your faith, your surrender, and now the supernatural transfer is already in motion. The shift you've been praying for is no longer approaching. It has begun. The gates of favor are open, and the current of abundance is flowing toward you. You are standing in your Kairos moment, your appointed time, where purpose and promise finally meet. Anointed one, lift your spirit. The same God who guided you through the wilderness now goes before you into your promised place. What once felt delayed was never denied. It was divinely timed. Every seed sown in faith is about to produce in fullness. Every tear shed in secret is being returned as joy, unspeakable. So receive this blessing now. May your steps be ordered by heaven, your hands overflow with divine provision, and your heart remain anchored in peace. May every door that was shut swing wide, and every obstacle turn into opportunity. The heavens have confirmed your identity. You are chosen, marked, and unstoppable. Before you go, let this be your final act of agreement. Take a moment to declare your alignment. Write in the comments words like, "I receive this," or "My Kairos moment is now." Do it not as routine, but as a prophetic seal, a visible echo of your unseen obedience. Walk forward, chosen one. The fire within you burns with holy purpose, and heaven itself bears witness. Your breakthrough has already begun.